the Holy Gospel as it is recorded in Matthew. Jesus said, "Beware of practicing your piety before others to attract their attention. If you do this, you will have no reward from your Abba God in heaven." When you do acts of charity, for example, don't have it trumpeted before you. That is what the hypocrites do in the synagogues and the streets, that they may be praised by others. The truth is, they've already received their reward in full. But when you do acts of charity, don't let your left hand know what your right hand is doing. Your good deeds must be done in secret, and your Abba God, who sees all that is done in secret, will repay you. And when you pray, do not behave like the hypocrites. They love to pray standing up in the synagogues and on the street corners for people to see them. The truth is, they have received their reward in full. But when you pray, go to your room, shut the door, and pray to God who is in the secret place. And your Abba God, who sees all that is done in secret, will reward you. And when you fast, don't look depressed like the hypocrites. They deliberately neglect their appearance to let everyone know that they are fasting. The truth is, they have already received their reward. But when you fast, brush your hair and wash your face. Do not let anyone know that you are fasting except your Abba God, who sees all that is done in secret. And Abba God, who sees everything that is done in secret, will reward you. This is the gospel of Christ. Please be seated. Remember that you are dust, and to dust you shall return. Tonight we pause to remember our reality. Reminding people that we are going to die is a daunting task. A task made even more daunting by our modern practices of denying death. Well, tonight we set aside our culture's denial of death, and we remember that we are dust, and to dust we shall return. Our impending death has always been, and this side of the grave will always be with us. I believe that we push away thoughts about our own death simply because we do not know precisely how or when we are going to die. In the face of such unknowing, we feel helpless, and for some of us, that helplessness, it provokes fear in us. Our fear is precisely why we need to remember that we are dust, and to dust we shall return. For in the remembering, fear itself can turn to dust. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust, earth to earth. Earth dust. We are part of something so much bigger than ourselves. So much bigger than we can even begin to imagine. Earth dust, particles assembled in a 14 billion-year-old universe. It set us on an adventure, a mystery born out of stardust. So the response to remember that you are dust, and to dust you shall return, need not be one of fear, but rather, wow, I'm here. The miracle of our presence. Tonight we pause to take notice of our eternal reality, eternally begotten of one being with our Creator. The Irish poet and mystic John O'Donoghue writes this about death. Maybe at death there is a very beautiful meeting between you and yourself. And then you go together into the invisible kingdom where there is no more darkness, suffering, separation, or sadness, and where you are one with all those that you love in the seen world and in the unseen world. Death, in that sense, is a time of great homecoming, and there is no need to be afraid. If you could interview a baby in the womb, a baby that was about to be born, and the baby asked you what is going to happen to it, and you said, you're going to go through a very dark channel, you are going to be pushed out, You are going to arrive into a vacant world of open air and of bright lights. The cord that connects you to your mother is going to be cut. You are going to be on your own forevermore, and regardless of how close you come to another, you will never belong in the way that you have been able to belong here. The baby would have no choice but to conclude that it was going to die. Maybe our death is that way too. As it seems that we die from inside the womb of the world, we are born into a new world where space and time and all the separation and all the difficulties no longer assail us. We are coming home. O'Donoghue's words point us away from our fear of death toward our hopes about death. So tonight, let me suggest that the ashes may be for us transformative ashes, ashes of transformation. May our fear of death be transformed into hope. As we begin our Lenten journey, we are encouraged to repent. This little word repent comes to us from the Greek word metanoia, which can be translated to mean to turn around, or it can also be translated as to change our way of thinking. So tonight, may these transformative ashes help us to repent, to change our way of thinking about death. May these transformative ashes transform our fears into hope. May we be transformed from fearful beings into hope-filled beings who rejoice in the eternal reality that we are dust, and to dust we shall return, for we are part of something so much bigger than we can even begin to imagine. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust, earth to earth, stardust to stardust. This too shall pass. In the twinkling of an eye, we shall be reborn, and all shall be well, all shall be well. For we are dust, and to dust we shall return. Wow. Eternally begot of one being with our Creator. Thanks be to the one who is our lover, beloved, and love itself.